I did it again. Hello, everyone. I muted myself like I always do, and then I forgot to unmute myself like I always do. Welcome to the BroTalk podcast. I'm your host, Dan. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today, all right? Here at the BroTalk podcast, we like to talk about video games. We like to talk about tech. We like to talk about some pop culture, not really, more so streamer culture. And then we like to talk about good news. And you're going to get a lot of that today. Here with me, as you can see, at least live, unless you're watching this via YouTube, then it's not live. We have three bros, not including myself. Including myself, we have four, but we have three bros. The first one is actually above me. His name is Tim. He likes blue shirts, as you can see. He's wearing a blue shirt.
Blue shirt. That's
Blue
Works
shirt.
for Best Buy.
I don't for Best Buy. I don't work for any.
Bruh. Nah, just Staples, so it should be red, just like Target. Anyway, next to him, so diagonal top left of me. How do I do that? There we go. That direction. We have the man who wants to be a stormtrooper, but also lives in his parents' basement, Grant.
It's a clone trooper, you
Yeah,
said.
Whatever. I don't.
You
I-
heathen.
You
Listen,
uncultured
I hate
swine.
Star Wars. I
Absolute
think it's
pathetic.
awful. Star Wars is like the worst
What is wrong
TV
with-
saga in history.
Oh, gosh.
Just anyway.
Oh,
and
dude.
then we
I
have
don't
the
know if I can do
man.
this tonight. You
No,
know,
listen.
I might have to go.
No, listen. And then this direction of me to my left, we have the man who crashed a car.
I
Chance.
didn't crash it, you chud!
Wait, what happened? Did the airbags just go off?
Okay, no, so there was construction on the road that didn't have... There was no cones, there was no sign, no nothing. There was just like a dip in the road from where they were doing construction. And my roommate, for those of you who don't know, is Terry. His front bumper, because it's so low to the ground, hit the bump in the road, and it activated the airbags, and that's what
Yikes.
caused it.
That's kind of what I
Okay.
figued happened. But I
Wait,
mean,
is that the Mustang?
Yeah, his red Mustang.
Oof.
Hey, I need you all to shut up for a second. Shut up. Oh, crap. I can't get this because it... Frick, I can't do
Because
it.
you're weak.
Okay, never
they
mind.
unsponsored
No, you know
you.
how sometimes when you try and open a can, the tab is like too close to the part, like there's not enough room to like stick your finger under and like pop it up.
Yeah, that's why I use
Yeah.
a bottle. That's why I use a bottle cap from like a soda to open mine up.
Excuse
Yeah, it was going to be really clean and smooth. The LaCroix was going to be cracked open, but it didn't happen. I'm still struggling. Ow.
yeah,
wanna
just
break
like
my
you
nail,
are trying
you know.
to get that sponsorship.
I was just saying.
Yeah, dude,
I,
I'm gonna get it. I promise you. One of these days, I'm gonna get it. Anyway,
I don't know if this probably comes in over the camera very well, but that's why my nose is all kinds of red.
oh, shut
I'm
up!
going
Shut
to
up!
email
Shut
LaCroix
up!
about this.
Shut up!
I'm gonna email
Oh,
them.
yeah, there we go.
Dude, they
Anyway, welcome to
that fucking
episode
hurt.
7, bros. Episode 7 of the BroTalk podcast. We are your bros, and we're gonna talk stuff today. Let's jump right into it because we do have a lot we have to talk about today. We have an extensive list, more than I think we've ever talked about before on the BroTalk podcast so far.
I don't know.
So, without further ado, let's go right into it. Chance, I want you to tell me about 343 and the bull crap that's going down.
All right. So, as those of you who don't know, who don't keep up on 343 or the Halo Infinite, basically the pipeline that's been going down, all the information. Just as of a couple hours ago, it is stated that Halo Infinite is not going to be coming out this holiday. It's not coming with the release of the Xbox anymore. It's going to be coming out some point in 2021 because they want to spend some more time making the game better. Which, first off, I agree with it. I know that our little co-star here, Dan, he doesn't agree with it. He
I
thinks
don't
that,
know.
Yeah, and I guess he could give you that side of it,
Oh,
or
yeah.
his side of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the game being delayed longer. I'd much rather them delay the game more and more until the game's perfect, rather than it release in such a buggy, buggy state. Honestly, like, I have no issue with it. I'd rather have them have the graphical updates and make sure the game is stable before the release. And even though it's been like 5 years since we've had a Halo game, and I'm not sure how any of y'all feel on that. I know Dan is gonna probably say his side right now. If you want to go ahead and talk
Nah,
about how you feel.
I'm going to go last on that. I want to hear what Grant and Tim say first. If you guys even have anything. I don't even know what you guys, if you feel any negativity or positivity towards that.
I mean, to be honest, 10 seconds ago was like the first time that I've heard that. Um, I, I mean, I can wait. I don't really like. I was diehard for Halo when Reach came out. That's the only like one where I pre-ordered it, made sure I was going to be there that day, made sure I was going to be able to play, and it's going to be awesome. But I mean, ever since then, it's just kind of. I've never had any game since then where I'm like, it has to come out ASAP. So I mean, if they just have stuff that they need to work on, especially after seeing possibly like fans seeing their like gameplay, I feel like that probably has a lot to do with it. They saw fan reactions like, oh crap, we need to change some stuff, guys. So they're buying themselves time, and I think that's fine.
And I'm not sure how Tim feels on the subject.
I lean somewhere in the middle. I feel like we were promised the game at the launch of the console. We're not going to be getting it at the launch of the console. But I also feel like it's better in the long run because, like you were saying, I'd rather have a game that's done than a game that's half pooped out. Like
I'd rather have a game that's done than a Bethesda game.
Yikes. Here's the thing, though. Okay. Now that you say that, I'm gonna pop in. I want to chime in a little bit. So here's the thing: when you release a big game like Skyrim, there's gonna be bugs because the game is so big. They're not gonna be able to test everything. Not to mention, I would assume the people that they test, Skyrim with, there was say maybe a couple thousand people, maybe not even that, maybe a couple hundred people. I don't know how game development works, but there was probably a very select few people, and they didn't thoroughly test. Oh, if I throw a cabbage in the air and shoot it with a bow and arrow, is it gonna explode? Like they probably didn't test stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have big games, of course, you're not going to find all the bugs. Same thing goes with The Witcher. A lot of people are trying to compare this to Cyberpunk. I think that CD Projekt Red is totally okay delaying Cyberpunk because I know that the game is going to be good, bugs or not. I know it's going to be good because The Witcher was amazing. The Witcher 3, like I've said time and time before, was probably one of the best games ever made simply because, one, the scale was massive. There's so much incredible storytelling, and overall, like, everything just flowed so well. They did such a good job at everything from big things to little tiny details. Game was like the best thing ever. I enjoyed it so much. But when you talk about 343 delaying the game, here's the thing. They've been in development for this game, or at least since Halo 5 came out, for about 6 years. They've had 6 years for this game. I understand they're doing something really new. They're trying to do like a more open world thing. I don't care about that. They've had 6 years. They've had 6 years to be like, hey, we're not up to speed. Hey, we're going to try out this new thing. We might need more people for it. Like they've had 6 years to do this. They have flopped with Halo 4. They have flopped with Halo 5. Microsoft themselves have promised that the game was going to be coming out, like Tim said, in holiday or with the launch of the console. I think that it's really stupid that they're delaying it. I don't think that it should happen. I think that it should be done, personally. I think that if it was a thing to where they only had like 3 or 4 years under their belt and they're trying to push it out and they have to delay it, I can understand that. But given their track record and given the promises that they made and given yada, 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 and them saying, we're going to deliver it, I think it's stupid.
I mean, like I said, I can see exactly where you're coming from, especially for someone who, like me, has cared a lot about Halo in terms of its games and its gameplay. Considering that you liked the original trilogy and ODST when it came out, like those were good games. Bungie did good with them, except I have my grievances with Halo 3, of which I think all of us went through except for Grant, with its co-op campaign and the slowdowns.
Oh, yeah.
With the interrupting from Cortana, I think that should have never even been added. That's kind of what slows the game down a little bit, in my opinion. But I'm gonna pull up I should just pull up the quote. I think that everybody in Nintendo, when you think of like a Nintendo game, I think in Shigeru Miyamoto and his quote, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever." I feel like I agree with that statement a lot.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
I kind of agree with that statement, but I mean, we also live in a day and age where you can push out patches.
Yeah.
You also have to remember the scale of games is being, like, the bar is being upped every single day or every single release of a game, that you can't just push out a Halo 3 nowadays. Even though Halo 3 was phenomenal in and of its time, or at its time, however you'd say that, if you were to put out the same game now, updated graphics, blah, 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 it would not go very well. It would not be taken very well, perceived by the or not, whatever that phrase is. It would not be taken well by the community. I think that's how it's supposed to be, because it's a campaign and a multiplayer, and they're both pretty basic, given today's terms. If you were to take Halo 3 and change into a giant open world game, say like Skyrim or something, it would be perceived very well by the community because it's kind of what we're expected. Like that's what we're expecting now. So when you have something that's, like that, it
kills it in your eyes, kinda.
yeah. So I'm going to stop there before I lose my train of thought even more.
Well, like I said, I agree with that, and that kind of those problems kind of arise more and more with more of the information that I kind of looked into and what I described to you guys before. I think it was yesterday when we were going over our topics. How a lot of, like, 343 loses a lot of its developers as quick as they gain them. And like I said, I've read a lot of the comments, a lot of the reviews for 343. Everyone who has left a review has always said like the people are very nice to work with, like in terms of like their coworkers, and that it's a rather inviting space. But they had a lot of different cons with development. Like development has, with most of the Halo games that 343 has come out with, have always been in a sort of perpetual development hell. Their tools are out of date. There's like no fucking communication with management. And which, I'm not gonna lie, it does have me scared for Infinite. However, at the same time, I also have to understand that, and I feel like everyone has to understand, Halo has never gone down a open world route. It's always been very linear, mission-based campaigns.
Yeah, I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. I think the thing though is that, and I want to try and be delicate when I say this, because I'm not trying to say that everything you're saying is wrong. Definitely not that, because everything you're saying is right. I think it's just, given who 343 is not okay.
Yeah.
Given, like it, I say it's not warranted, but I'm kind of with Tim. Like I can understand why, but at the same time, it's like it shouldn't be like this. But then again, everyone can then compare it to every other game that's been delayed. So
Yeah.
It kind of just blows my mind. It's actually happening.
I'm just a lot more concerned. I'm not like Halo aside. I'm a lot more concerned with the fact that 343 loses its developers as fast as it gets them. And
I would assume that I would assume there's a lot of reasons for that, because I know that there are some companies that keep their people for a long time because they're good companies. If they're losing that many people that fast, I would assume it's because 343 either one has absolutely no clue what they're doing, treats their employees like crap, or they're just a bad company in general to work for, because people can see through they don't have anything. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's definitely a reason. It's kind of like when we all worked at Target. It was kind of like, we don't want to be here because we hate the people, or we hated the managers, or we didn't, whatever it was. It's kind of like that.
Well, and I feel like a lot of the one comment that really stuck out to me with a previous employee of 343 was, you are no longer developing games. You are developing ways to make money.
Exactly.
And I feel like that comment really sticks with me personally, because then we look at big companies like EA, which I feel like we could segue into a thing that we had talked about previously in terms
hold on.
of.
We'll go into that.
Definitely wait.
Yeah,
we'll go into that in just a second. I do want to say this though, and I think that it's kind of cool before we segue into that next thing. So you guys remember how Call of Duty and like old school Halo would have like Mountain Dew and like Doritos and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, instead of Mountain Dew and Doritos, they're partnering with Monster Energy drinks, and it's literally for double XP codes. I didn't see anything else besides. I would assume there's armor, but as far as I know, it's just double XP codes. I just think it's funny that they're going to Monster and not back to Mountain Dew, and I think that's because Doritos leaked the new Call of Duty. I think that's why. Changed my mind.
Now, do you know that to be the reason as to why they're doing this?
I'm speculating. I'm totally speculating. I have no clue as to why. Yeah. No clue as to why they're doing it, rather than to raise awareness.
Like, but it's also...
Go ahead.
Would have been done like way before.
I find it really interesting though that they're doing this. Like it's been announced, but yet they're delaying it. That doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like they literally decided to delay it yesterday or the day before. You know what I'm saying? Like just out of the blue like that, they decided that they were choosing to delay it rather than like, oh, we might not be able to do this. I think they literally waited last second and then made the choice.
But
Anyway,
I mean, it's kind of odd seeing that Monster's the one getting the promotions now because I'm so used to seeing it with the Rios and Mountain Dew, personally.
Not
I
gonna
mean,
lie,
to
like
each his own.
I love like sodas and stuff like that, and usually I stay away from energy drinks themselves. Like Game Fuel I'll have, and I love Game Fuel, but that's also the same caffeine content as like any other Mountain Dew. But
Yeah.
yesterday I had a freaking, what was it? I think it was a Rockstar out of like our work vending machine, and it has been years, like probably 6 or 7 years since I had a like legit energy drink, and I was sweating like 20 minutes after. I had
Nice,
no
dude.
idea what was happening. I was like,
Nice.
maybe this is for people who like do this every day.
I mean,
kinda w-
if I had to
kinda wish-
remake oh, sorry, we're like getting into it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
I kind of wish that this was coming out though when we were still working at Target and had those early morning midnight shifts, because I remember like counting 3 of those down and everyone would crash at like 6 o'clock in
yeah.
the morning. Those were the best. I miss those. But
Who
no,
was it that used to do like a Red Bull 5-hour and whatever else all in one
Wasn't
drink or
that
whatever?
Caleb?
yeah, I don't think that was Caleb. No. Oh my
I'm
gosh, who
thinking it was
that?
Brian.
I think it was Brian.
I feel so left out being on the day crew.
I think it was
Jeez.
Brian. Brian would pound that crap down, and then I would walk up to him, and he would just like lamp and do the little shoulder. I remember that was fun. I miss those times.
I feel like that would just kill you,
I
like
mean-
afterwards.
Dude, Brian had
Brian is a
no
different
sense of anything.
species.
He
Brian
very
is
vicious.
like in a way different person now, I think.
Brian was like jacked, wasn't he?
He's
Oh,
still
yeah.
jacked.
Oh yeah, dude, he's
Is he
built.
still?
He's getting them gains.
Yeah.
Like he works all day and then gets them gains at night.
Oh, dude, we tried to get him like the last game night that we had. We tried to get him to have a pizza, and he's like, "Nah, I can't eat that." And then he, like 10 minutes later, he's sitting there scarfing down pizza.
Oh yeah, that was Brian. I remember when we would do like LAN parties with him. I would be like, "Yo, let's go get some pizzas," and he's like, "I really don't want any pizza." And then I would get him a pizza for himself, knowing he would eat it, and then he would eat half of my pizza after his whole pizza. I remember that guy. That guy was great. All right.
Dear Lord.
Anyway, let's move on to EA shareholders. It's a pretty interesting story. As we all know, EA sucks. We do not like EA. There's a lot of reasons why we don't like them. Take sports games. Take BioWare. Take anything else that EA has had their hand in. You know, they've put out a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's rushed. And we know that a lot of the rushing is because they just want money. You know, especially with sports games. So it's really cool to hear that their shareholders voted against compensating top executives. What are your thoughts on that, boys? Because that's a pretty big thing.
I completely agree with that. Because you've seen EA's CEO is one of the top like people in the world, the highest salaries, while the rest of their company suffers.
Mhm.
And that's the reason why half the games they push out are absolute dog shit, because it's like
Yeah,
it's all for money. Like that's all it is.
exactly.
I think that the CEO of EA is a scummy piece of garbage.
I think that it really shows where the shareholders are at. Because here's the thing, I don't know if you guys know how stocks work, but pretty much what happens is like there's a certain amount of people, if they own a certain amount of shares, they get to join in like at the table when they do their quarterly reports, and they can do all the voting and stuff. It's one of the ways that it helps keep companies accountable, if you will, for lack of a better term. And they voted against giving these compensation bonuses. So everyone clearly sees something's going on, and I'm not sure. And from what I read, no one's really sure exactly what happened. But they're not sure if it's lack of sales, which obviously isn't the case. They're not sure if it's because they might raise prices. They're not sure if it's because EA just sucks. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see that these people are actually starting to take a little bit of a stand. I kind of like that.
I think
like
that the damn gaming industry needs more justice like this. I mean, people are sitting there crunched, or sitting there on a work crunch. Then they'd force them to work through their lunches. Like, really?
Dude, it kind of blows my mind that these big I mean, here's the thing. Of course, a CEO is going to get paid more. They're the CEO of the company. They're the face of the company. They have to make all these executive orders. Blah, blah, blah. It makes sense, kind of, to an extent, like the pay gap. I understand that to an extent. But for them to just, I don't want to say abuse it, but just get so much more money for literally just making some decisions rather than doing the nitty gritty of coding and designing all this stuff, it's mind-boggling to me. Do you have any
I
thoughts
think
on that, Tim?
especially in the case
After Grant, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Grant.
I think that especially in the case of like CEOs, like if you actually need like some sort of compensation or like I don't know, whatever this would have been, then you've made some really bad life choices with your money. And you don't need more money to help with whatever all your other money went to. Because I mean, I don't know, like CEOs, there's a point where you have enough money that you shouldn't need bonuses. Like you already have like bonuses built into your paycheck at that point.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying. He's like one of the top-rated CEOs that for overpaid CEOs. Which, I mean, if he's sitting there getting bonuses, like you said, there's no reason for him to be. A lot of that money should be going straight to the workers.
Now that you say that, I'm sorry, Tim. After this, I'll let you say something. So pretty much what happened is the director of the investment group, so one of these like main stakeholders, said EA has gone too far in terms of executive pay. EA CFO and CTO are paid too much, and it is especially poor practice as EA is laying off people. Tim, give me some meat.
So like, they're deciding against paying their CEOs a bonus. Good.
Mm-hmm.
They're laying off people as they're deciding to do this. What's going on here?
No, so what's happening is EA is laying off people, but yet the big names are wanting more money.
Okay.
And so then the shareholders are saying no.
Okay, so that doesn't sit right with me. Like, why would they need more money? Like, why would they want more money but also want to lay people off? Like, that's very scummy. Like,
very I don't want to say malpractice because I don't know if that's the correct term, but just very stupid.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's pretty scummy. Like, I don't know. I couldn't work for EA after hearing that. Like, they're gonna lay people off and then ask for more money as a top executive. There's no reason for it. Like I was saying, once you get to a certain point with money, you shouldn't need to worry about it. Like, you shouldn't need more or whatever. Like, give it to the lower guys, the ones actually doing the jobs.
I can understand if, like, for example, the marketing lead, the chief of marketing or whatever they are, the marketing team outperforms like incredibly well, like based on statistics, sales are up like 20% because of marketing. I can understand getting a little bonus for that because they worked for it. Don't get me wrong, it's still extra, but I can understand something like that. But I think it's ridiculous. Go ahead, Grant.
Something interesting is how much they rejected.
Oh, yeah. We don't have to go into numbers. All right, sorry, go ahead. You can go ahead, yeah.
I'm going into numbers, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, he's going into
all right,
numbers.
There's just a lot of numbers, and so I was going to say, let's not
go
into all of them.
You wanted the numbers, Dan.
He's not wrong.
You're not wrong. There's just a lot of numbers.
Grant, give us those numbers.
This isn't his paycheck. This is compensation. Compensation for 2020. $21 million just to the CEO. Not to mention the compensation that would have gone to all the other people. Like, that's not compensation. That's so much money. That's absurd amounts of money.
Yeah, and here's the thing: we don't even know exactly what the amount of compensation would have been. There's no anything to like indicate what that bonus, quote unquote, could have been. So it just shows that EA is scum, and the video game. Well, I shouldn't say video game, but companies are corrupt. That's, I guess, what the gist of this is. Without trying to put an overlying blanket, there are some companies that are really good, but there are kind of scummy companies that we can see through, and they just kind of keep pushing.
That's why we have shareholders.
Well, now, speaking of EA, we're gonna go ahead and segue into the next part as far as TV. Yeah, Dan. Yeah.
Okay, huh?
You like me?
Just hijacking.
Yeah,
Listen.
dude. I'm very into this next subject. I'm sorry.
Okay, listen, because we actually skipped one chance. We're not going there right away.
Ah,
Yeah, we
We're
skipped
gonna
one
be talking.
chance.
You're
That's
just gonna
why
have to
you
be
let me
patient.
go, boy. That's why you let me control this.
That's
All
why I
right,
let Dan
listen.
segue.
You let me
Fine.
segue. I can see what you're trying to do, and it was a very good effort. But we want to, before we talk about TV, and that's a little hint, we're going to be talking about how, speaking of corrupt companies, Blizzard employees are starting to share some of their pay data anonymously because Blizzard Activision is dog crap. Now, this is another company. Here's the thing: it's the same idea, but it's not the same like thing that's happening. With EA, we had shareholders cutting stuff, right? Cutting bonuses to CEOs and CFOs and all this crap. With Blizzard, we have employees who are coming out to say, "Yo, Blizzard sucks. They're overworking us. We are not getting paid enough. I will not tell you my name, but I would assume it's for legal reasons. They probably can't say their name and everything, but they're like." Anonymously, this is how much I make. This is what I have to do. I have to work too much. I'm being overworked. What are your thoughts on that one, Grant? I'll throw the ball to you. The ball is now in your court.
I mean, even from what I looked at, it didn't give me enough information to have much of an opinion. I couldn't find like their spreadsheets or any of that yet. It's probably out there, but I just haven't put in the effort, I guess, to go out there and find it. But I did think that one comment was interesting. If I could find it here, is it that most of their
Go ahead.
Dan?
You were quiet for a split second. I'm going to pass it on because you weren't prepared. Come on, Grant.
Oh my goodness.
Now you just make me sad. Why is
I'm
Dad always
sorry.
yelling?
I didn't mean to make you sad. I was making a joke.
was yelling.
Dad, stop yelling.
It's scuffed, bro. Instead of bro talk, this should be called scuff talk.
Scuff talk.
I mean,
Scuff
if your name
talk.
is Dan.
It should just be
It's not
called
my
Dan
fault.
yells at his friends.
I mean, I find these little tidbits to be incredibly funny.
All
I
right,
think they're
go
worth
ahead,
listening.
Grant. Read your quote.
Well, someone said that most of the raises were below 10%, which is significantly less than the Blizzard employees said they expected. So I'm just wondering, like, what they expected, like how they came up with a number to expect. I mean, for me, like 10%, I'd be very happy with a 10% raise. I mean, yes, it says most are below 10%, so I'm not sure what even the scaling is to decide which employees got more than 10%, less than 10%, at 10%, like whatever it is. It just, even just reading what little I have, it sounds like they're not being treated the same. Whether it's treated fairly or not, I don't know, but they're not being treated the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big no-no, especially in today's time with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, the Me Too movement. You know, you have all these different movements coming together, and it's showing. You know, people aren't standing for it. A little bit of money, a little bit extra money is not gonna cut it. You gotta make that cheddar, but you also gotta respect your fellow humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a very sticky situation, I think, and it really blows my mind that I say blows my mind a lot because we're learning about these things that are just literally like how do we not know about this, and how are companies treating people like this? It's stupid. It's barbaric. I find it to be just incredibly inhumane, if you will, because these employees came out to say we're being overworked. We're working extra hours to push out these games. We have to work, an extra 30 hours plus a week. I made that number up, but there are people that said like we're working hard overtime, just to kind of give you an idea. We're working hard overtime to put these games out because Blizzard's rushing us, and we're getting paid pretty much the same with no overtime. What are we supposed to do? Ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like companies just see I feel like game developers legitimately want to make good games, but a lot of that just falls on just the company that they're working for, forcing them to not do that in a sense.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of the time it is the people that are higher up don't understand what it takes to do a specific thing, and then push the timetable way or they constrict the timetable. They make it like, oh, you have 2 days to do this entire map, and you're like, excuse me, what? Of course that's not realistic, but they probably don't have a realistic idea of what needs to be done, how long that takes, to make sure that the coding is up to par, to make sure that XYZ is up to par. They're just like, we need this, we need it done, ship it. That's probably all they do. I mean, there's of course some higher up people that have been in the company for a while, or in the gaming industry for a while, and they're starting to understand. There's probably some people who are really good, but I feel like because the gaming culture in and of itself, it really isn't that old. Video games, like, yeah, they've been around since what, the 80s or something like that. Like Pong and whatnot. But it's only recently, with like Skyrim, being one of the big ones recently, in I would say a new modern era where we have these giant games. And we don't have, when Skyrim come out? 2012? It's only 8 years.
Was it 2012?
Is 2012 or 2011, one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. Anyway, let's just say 9 years. 2011. All right, so 9 years, and they've, executives and higher up people, they've only had 9 years to really learn, this thing. Not to mention they're jumping from company to company and having to learn, all the new ways that this company does something rather than, the old company, and all these new people who have different talents. So I still don't think that it's right. Not trying to make an excuse for them, because everyone's human and everyone deserves, a fair wage. At least that's what I think. Then we get into politics, but sorry. It just is kind of stupid to me that, Blizzard's not treating their employees well. And then people are leaving and they're like, yeah, we're getting overworked. Here's my salary for what I have to do. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I feel like that a lot of CEOs look at developers as more or less cogs in the machine, and when one part isn't working very well, you replace it.
You take it out and you put in a new one.
Yeah,
that's true. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying, because like if there's someone that's not doing their job, get them out of there. Get them out, because they're just going to delay everything. They're going to hinder stuff. Let's be honest. But at the same time, if people are quitting, on the other hand, if people are quitting because they can't do something because they're being overworked, whatever, not everything revolves around money, is I guess what the gist of this is.
I mean, that kind of just looks back at what we were talking about with 343. People just aren't happy with people just weren't happy with the way management was going, and how the coding was out of date, and all the tools weren't very helpful.
Graphics look like butt cheeks.
We're putting Halo aside, Dan. We're talking about strictly like the tools and the stuff that are needed to work and to make your game. You can't be 343 is playing catch up. I feel a lot.
Yeah,
they're playing
agree.
catch up. I believe.
I agree. All right. So, any last thoughts on that, boys, before we move on to what Chance really wants to get into?
Dude, I have stuff I need to say.
Honestly, I think I kind of want to get into this too, because I feel like this will affect us more as gamers than.
All right. So this is a bombshell. So just a little thing. I'm going to kind of explain this just very basic, and then I'll start with Tim, and then we'll go to Grant, and then we'll go to Chance. Just a little forward, so then Chance can save his big old giant bomb for the end. So apparently what's going on is there's going to be TV ads in video games. Now here's the thing. This is totally different than, like, for example, let's say you're playing a GTA and you go by a building and there's a McDonald's there. They didn't just take a McDonald's and put it in there. McDonald's pretty much paid to be in the game. That's, that's just a normal thing. We sometimes see that with cars and music. For example, a good thing is Watch Dogs. When the original Watch Dogs came out, there was a Rise Against song that was in there, one or two of them that were in there. They probably had a little bit of a deal there. That's an ad. With sports games, you sometimes get ads. Like on the sides of the field or whatever. There's ads, right? But with this, we're going to be getting TV-like ads. So instead of a static ad, it's actually going to play some sort of like thing, like a 15-second ad for whatever it is. It could be McDonald's, it could be Viagra, it could be whatever you want. I don't know. I mean, gamers need stuff, right? Let's be honest. And so,
but Dan, I don't think I've ever needed that specific product.
I mean, don't ask me to stand up right now. Anyway.
Gamers need Viagra just to get it up.
So, Tim, tell me what you think about this, and tell me what you know based on the article that we read. Just kind of go into a little bit. Sprinkle me with some knowledge.
So, basically, my understandings are, I don't know, who is it? Was it one of like the FIFA or one of the sports games are going to be looking at putting in the specific TV like ads or whatever to like give you specific unlocks for whatever.
I'm pretty sure it's sports games in general. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're starting
sports-
out with sports games.
It started out with UFC 3, and it was just
Yes.
like
Yeah, no,
Like,
I mean,
yeah.
if they're gonna be doing that, I feel like a sports title would be the only title to maybe get away with it. Like,
Mhm.
like if they were like doing a story or whatever, like a story campaign or whatever, like do your season of like soccer or whatever, and like every now and again it plays a commercial or whatever to kind of immerse you in more into like the watching a soccer game or whatever. Although I think ads like that aren't going to do too well. I don't think gamers are going to like it. I mean, putting ads in a mobile game, that's one thing. Putting them in a game that you pay $60, next gen console $70 for, I
Mhm.
highly doubt that's going to work. It's not going to blow over very well. So,
Grant, what do you think about this? Would you like to pay $60 for a game and all of a sudden get slapped with an ad?
No. I think it's so dumb. Like,
All right, let's move
I
on to
mean,
Dan. Just kidding.
Shut up, Dan. I didn't
Come
even
on, I had to
pause
do
that
that. I
time.
had to do that, bro. Come on.
Dan,
oh my god.
hey, confirmed.
All right, Grant. Sorry,
So,
go ahead.
Anyway,
Grant, anytime now.
Anything. Get out of here. Hop off.
I started talking again. Gosh dang it. Okay. So, I mean, with mobile games and like stuff that's free, I can understand because they're making money that way. And like that's fine and good and all whatever. But if I pay $60 for a game and most games have microtransactions and then you're going to add ads that I like have to go through on top of it, that's so obnoxious. Like, I mean, like we were talking about with one of the other topics, it's all about money. It's not about being like, hey, here's this small company that we just thought you might be interested in. No, it's, hey, they paid us money, you should watch this whether you like it or not. And that's so annoying when you've already paid for it. And especially with the talk of the next gen games even getting a, like, freaking an increase in their price. Like, on top of that as well, you can't just keep on saying all these things that are either going to make you more money or that we're going to have to spend more on.
Yeah. So are you saying it's kind of a one or the other sort of thing? Or are you just saying just keep it at 60 and don't give me ads?
60 and no ads, yeah.
That would be ideal.
That would be the
That'd be
ideal
ideal.
world.
Even 50 and no ads would still be all right with me.
Oof. Okay, now we're
You know,
we're
they
getting
can
into
still
some
change the
rough.
price that way. They can get their price changed, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
just not up.
Yeah.
They can get their price changed. Highway robbery.
It's really all
Alright,
they
Shane.
wanted was to change the price, right?
Pretty much. Spill the beans, Chance. Give it to me straight, raw.
Okay,
Uncensored.
well, I don't feel like there's much I can say at this point that hasn't already been said by Tim and Grant. As far as, like they said, you know, mobile games need ads because that's how they get all their money.
Mhm.
Yada yada yada. You know, same old crap. As far as my feelings on the subject, I don't like the fact having. Here's the thing: there's a difference between intrusive and non-intrusive ads. And like you said, like with Cyberpunk, like if they had a McDonald's in it, you know, a non-intrusive ad that doesn't inhibit your gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, I want to, like, that's fine. I'm fine with those kind of ads. But
Mhm.
if I'm having to sit there and play, like, say if we're playing Halo Infinite, for example, right?
Mhm.
And like 30 minutes into your game, and you go to save it, and then after you save it, you have to watch like a 20-minute, or not 20-minute, like a 10-minute ad, or like even like a 5-minute ad. It's to me, I feel like it's unjustified because I had already paid my $60 or my $70 for the new game. You know, I don't want to be impeded in any way. Now, if they added non-intrusive ads, that's fine. I'm completely fine with that. If they are going to add intrusive ads where I have to sit there and watch it, I feel like that would be a lot more steered towards like a sports title where like during the halftime they play an ad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
that sounds completely fine to me. But I
Mhm.
don't see it being fine with an adventure type of game or a shooter. I don't think anybody's gonna like that. I don't
So
like
ju-
that. I don't
so
like the
just like-
idea of that. I don't like entertaining the idea of that.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see my Call of Duty 2020 trying to sell me some deodorant because they know I'm a big old stinky gamer.
No.
Or how about ads geared towards specific games? Like, oh, yeah, like Tim said, you play a shooter, you must be a sweaty nerd. Here's some spray deodorant ads playing in my Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
So I want to say this real quick, Chance. Did you mean 5 or 10 minute ad or 5 or 10 second ad? Because a 10-minute ad would be so long. I wouldn't play the game. Just
I
saying.
mean, it's all the same thing. I don't want an intrusive ad in any respect.
Okay, I see what
in
you're
my
saying
game.
now. I just thought you meant seconds.
Basically,
So I
he's
wanted
saying
to clarify.
size doesn't matter.
I mean, preach that, dude.
I mean, it doesn't, but I mean,
Dan has a wife.
Dan.
That's right, I do. I'm happy about it too.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that-
I want to.
that's just kind of my feelings on it. Like, I feel like if you're gonna add ads, keep them in your sports titles and stick them to the halftime. Don't have them on the main menu. Don't have them in any way inhibit the game if they're gonna be intrusive.
Speaking of ads, this stream is sponsored by LaCroix. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tim, for reminding me
You
to
can't just claim
throw that in there.
sponsorships.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you wish.
if he says it enough.
Unsponsoredly sponsored. I think that's no. I don't know. This
I
is
mean-
not sponsored, but it should be. There we go. That's how
I
I
feel
should.
like-
You wish it was sponsored by
I feel like
LaCroix.
Dan's
Dude, that'd be
literally
sick.
just sponsoring LaCroix at this point. I bet you their
By the
sales
way.
have like quadrupled by the
Quadrupled.
Don't you give me
Since
shit, Grant. I see what you're typing in there.
Bro, it's lit. I do want to say this, though. I do want to say this, and I'll agree with Chance. I think that non-intrusive ads are fine. I don't care if your game is riddled with ads, as long as it doesn't like steal away from the immersion. Like, for example, in Grand Theft Auto, if I was to drive downtown, I see a McDonald's, awesome. It makes me feel like I'm actually in the city rather than just, buildings that are there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then maybe
But
I
it's
might want to
default
actually go buy a
buildings.
McDonald's burger later.
Exactly. Well, if I want to spend $2 in the game to buy a freaking Big Mac, I want to do that.
I feel
But
$2
I
Here's my
don't want to have ads to where I have to sit there and watch unless it's in a sports game. I think that, again, we've already said this, but I'm going to reiterate it again. I think that if we spend money on the game, there should be no way to have ads unless
Yeah.
if they're just there. If I have to sit and watch an ad after I've already paid money for it, no. There's already kind of some models with this. Like, for example, there's Hulu. If you you can watch Hulu for free and you have ads. You can also spend money to unlock more shows, but you still have to watch ads. And then there's another tier of Hulu where there's no ads.
Mhm.
So it's like, it doesn't work. I shouldn't have to spend money per month to watch something, but still have ads. That doesn't make sense to me. Actually,
I
no.
don't know.
Yeah, anyway. I think I said that wrong, but
It just pisses me off, honestly. It makes me very angry when I see stuff like that in my games. Here's the thing for me, like me personally, you'll get me to buy something a lot better or a lot more consistently if it's a non-intrusive thing and I'm just driving by it.
oh, exactly.
If it's intrusive, you're just gonna piss me off. You're not gonna make me want to go buy anything from you. But if it's something I pass by, like in GTA, like you said, like McDonald's and like Tim said, McDonald's and GTA, yeah, maybe I want to go get myself some fries because I'm hungry. It makes me hungry because it's there and I can just
Yeah,
go buy it.
exactly.
Or maybe kind of like incentivize, like with the UFC games, like if there's going to be ads in there, only charge like $60 or $50 for the game. It's at that
exactly.
point definitely not worth $70 if there's going to be ads in it that are intrusive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to ask,
how successful are sports games anyway? I mean, let's do this.
They're
How successful
extremely-
are they?
they're more
Okay.
popular than you would think.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
what-
it's a different like group of gaming than what us four typically do,
Mhm.
but they have like their own very large fan base.
Okay.
Let me throw this question at you though. What if we had sports games that had ads? Like the ads that we're talking about that we don't want. But let's just say if you bought on the Xbox, the ads were for different things of the Xbox, different games on the Xbox that were coming up. It wasn't necessarily ads. They were ads, but they were more of like news ads for different things. How would you feel about that? Just
feel-
hypothetically.
Explain that a little bit better. Like, what do you mean?
So, for example, let's say if I buy the new UFC, right, and I knock this guy out, and the ad pops up, and let's just say Cyberpunk hasn't come out, but it's an ad for Cyberpunk. Or let's just say it's an ad for the next FIFA game that isn't out yet, or the next new controller for Xbox that's coming out, or if it's something new in the world of X, like if instead of an ad, it was still an ad, but it was more of a news ad, how would you feel?
If I'm going to have that type of ad, have it tailored to my preference.
Okay.
Here's a thought on that. Is that like with mobile games, most free mobile games, you either get the little banner at the bottom or top, wherever, or you have like you'll play around and then something will pop up that you'll watch for 30 seconds. And those are on the free games. If you pay for a game or you upgrade the free game, you upgrade it because you paid. And so if we're already paying for these games, we shouldn't be stopped by ads.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, that was just a hypothetical question because I know I just like learning about stuff. I like to hear about the news. So I was like, all right, I guess I wouldn't mind that maybe for the first like day I own it, but probably
that's the first day.
That's kind of like the real thing. Like if you're gonna have an ad, if you're gonna have an ad in your game, I feel like it should be tailored to your preference. If you have to have ads in your game, like let's say for example, like what type of if it gives you like a questionnaire, like a really short question, like what type of person are you, and then it shows you ads tailored to kind of like how you answer. I feel like that would be a little bit more acceptable than having random ads play that you don't care about.
I respect that.
Honestly, I also feel like these advertisers that are wanting to pay to get their games in ad or their ads in games, I feel like they're going it all wrong. Like I feel like the people that you're going to want to talk to would be like Microsoft, Sony, maybe even Nintendo. Try and get your ads put on the console's home screen. So
ooh, that's good.
Yeah, that could have been a lot better.
I think I would be a lot better off like if I were to own a console like the Xbox Series X. I think I would have a lot better of a reaction to seeing a 5-10 second ad on the home screen before I launch a game or something like that rather than having my game be intruded upon.
I mean, we're not saying that we want ads. We're saying no. We're just thinking, what if there were to be ads? Just to preface that, because we don't want them at all. They suck. No. I hate them.
Well, and then kind of like going off of Tim, even I don't even want that. Like, if you're gonna have an ad, just have it like play in a little window on your home screen. Don't have it take up your entire screen.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. Like a small window. Like how the Xbox has their like different little apps or whatever that you can go on to.
Yeah,
I feel like having one of the tiles on that home screen playing an ad that you can mute if you want
is a lot better.
Would be a lot better received than having a ad that intrudes in your gaming experience.
Because if it's pre-muted and you look down and you see like that looks interesting, like then click on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That deodorant looks like it would make my armpits smell better.
I do want to ask this though. I want to ask this, and this will be the last thing I would talk about before we move on, because I feel like we have beat this like a dead horse. What about this though? What about ad companies having to be aware of the ads that they are putting on consoles or games? Because here's the thing: if let's just say little 12-year-old Timmy just got his brand new Xbox, wants to play Minecraft, right? Wants to play Minecraft. He loads it up, but he sees an ad for a car. What's he going to do? He's not going to go out and buy a freaking car. What if he sees an ad for, deodorant? He's like, I might need to start wearing deodorant. You see what I'm saying?
Well, what if he sees an ad for
going to tailor the
erectile
ads.
Dysfunction pills, Dan?
Viagra ad, dude. Little Tim's like, what's Viagra? That opens a whole new world for him. Not saying it's good, but
that might open a world for him, but I feel like that would also get these advertisers in a lot of trouble for showing Viagra to small children.
12-year-old Timmy does not need an opened up world because of Viagra.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I do too.
Parent mode activated, exactly, Wing.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing, and Tim kind of in chat brings up a good point. Targeted ads, and I'm saying here's the thing though, like not all the time are people giving their age or whatever on console, because you can like update your profile and stuff and like say your age or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Some people don't do that. Some people just have it in their room or in their living room. Their little kid plays on it. Sometimes little kids play on their parents' accounts. So it's like, how are they going to tailor ads? That's my question. Just kind of throwing that out there. Like it's going to be hard for them to tailor it because. I don't feel
like they're going to be able to tailor it at all. Personally, I feel like they're just going to show them indiscriminately.
Okay.
If you are opted out of interest-based ads, where you would actually say what your interests are ahead of time, then the only way that they could really tailor it is to narrow it down. So you would show these ads. If they haven't clicked on that in like a week, you show a different type of ad. You show a different type of ad until they're interested enough in one of those ads to actually click on it. And once they've clicked on that, then you narrow it down to, okay, so this category. And you can still get interest-based ads without people being opted in for them.
Did you like that, Chance? I heard what you said, Grant, but I'm sorry. I have to say this.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Every ad is targeted these days. I'm like, man, you're so right. I hate seeing Trojan commercials. I thought it was funny. It was a good joke.
I saw that. I just started laughing. I'm sorry.
Dan with a 10-second timeout.
I didn't mean to try and steal anything from you. I didn't.
No, I'm good.
All right, so I feel like we're good with that. We hit that like a dead horse. Let's kind of move on.
I like hitting dead horses, yeah.
We got some more stuff. Okay, yikes. We got some more stuff I want to talk about.
BroTalk officially canceled now.
Cancel culture.
So
we talked about this. We talked about this last week with Anthem. Kind of changing stuff. They kind of are given like an update each week about what they're doing, or whenever they start doing it. Last week they said that they were working on the loot pools and stuff, and I know Chance has some information about this, so I'll let you talk about it in just a second. But apparently, Anthem 2.0 is copying looting mechanics and UI from other shooters like Destiny. What are your thoughts on that, Chance? Because I know you said something about someone said that Destiny copied them or something like that.
Okay, so I brought this up to us yesterday, and this is something that I feel like needs to be said, even though Anthem is basically at this point it's considered a dead game and a dead franchise. Well, basically the forum that was brought up was basically like you had said, Anthem is copying a lot of the stuff that Destiny had made, along with its UI, its looting mechanics, and the way guns are going to be collected now. We could bring up some screenshots, but we have a link to the page itself, or at least to the channel that presented it, which would be Legacy Killer HD, who I watch a lot for a lot of this content. Not sponsored, by the way, by Legacy Killer HD. He's on YouTube. Go look at him.
By LaCroix, please, LaCroix. We are here. We are out here. I am jamming this down people's throats. Sponsors, thank you.
But I'm a lot more concerned with the fact that Anthem, the forum said that Anthem had basically been in development before Destiny came out, which I find interesting because if that's the case, why didn't you just do this from the get-go? And why are you bringing this up now?
Oh yeah.
Like, why do you feel the need? Anthem BioWare devs, why do you feel the need to defend yourself with the way you're going in the direction of this game? If other shooters have done it in the first place, like why wouldn't you just roll with it? You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. And you and I, we did the math. We pretty much I'm not going to go with the numbers and stuff right now, just because I remember thinking about it for like 10 minutes yesterday, and you can look it up. But pretty much what happened is Anthem's first video came out, which they said their first like trailer or whatever of the game. That's when they finally started to figure out like what direction the game was going to go down. That came out like 4 years after the original Destiny was released, 3 or 4 years or something like that. And yet the BioWare head dude is claiming that Destiny copied Anthem. Like you got a load of crap deep in your throat, bro. If you're trying to spew that on us.
No. I wouldn't say no. That's not where the thing went. I feel like I might have informed you a little bit on that. It was a lot of people comparing and a lot of people saying that Anthem is now starting to copy from Destiny. The people over at Anthem never said that they were copying.
Oh, that's what you told me. So that's what I was going off. My bad. Ignore that. We're
no. That's my bad.
We're scuffed. Yeah, we're just gonna cut that out.
Is that he felt? No, I don't feel like he needs to be edited in post. The thing here was he felt the need to defend himself because a lot of people were comparing him to Destiny's loot pool. Which, yes, after seeing the screenshots, which I don't know if I don't think Tim's gonna bother throwing up screenshots, but
no.
If you actually do look at that's what I figured, Tim. If you actually go ahead and take a look at the link, which did I provide a link? I think I did in the notes.
You didn't, no.
Nope.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, we'll find it later.
Either way, if you go ahead and take a look at the screenshots or the prerequisites and stuff that they're coming up with, they have a lot of it's just references. A lot of it is basically, if you ever played Anthem, the Sentinel gal, it looks like she's going to have a shop similar to some of the people in Destiny. Like I said, the stats of weapons and how they're picked up and how they're shown on the ground is, you can't even deny that it's similar to Destiny's. Even though I hadn't played Destiny in quite a while, I've been watching you guys mostly been playing, and I'm not sure how you guys feel on that personally. If you're okay with Anthem going in this direction, even though I feel like at this point I don't think Anthem really has a future as much as I want it to have a future.
Yeah. We can go on and on about this stuff, and I'll end this here and we'll move on to the next thing. I think that the way Destiny's loot works, I think it's pretty good. A lot of people don't like certain aspects about it, but I think overall it's a pretty good system. So I can kind of see what Anthem's doing. They're trying to copy Destiny's model, so then they can pretty much revive their game, which I don't think is going to happen, even though I liked Anthem a lot. Anyway, let's move on a little bit. A Chinese streamer quits cyberpunk voice acting over backlash. That's really interesting, especially given the world that we live in today. Chance, where are you, a ghost?
Mm-hmm. Sorry,
You're bright white, dude.
I know, sorry. It's the screen. I'm trying to find the thing here.
Because he has no backlighting.
Yeah.
He has no backlighting. I find it really disturbing, though, and really, really sad that, some...
Right.
And I don't want to sound racist when I say this, but some Chinese person, a voice actor, is quitting over this. Because, what's that going to mean then? Are they going to have to redo all the voice lines, or are they just going to, end his story right there? You know what I mean? One, it sucks for the game, but two, it's also injustice. It's not fair that someone should have to quit over that, all because of how they were born or how they sound. I find that to be very, very disrespectful and just absurd. Barbaric, if you will.
Well, here's the thing: it's not because the reason that they were Chinese, or even because of their descent. It's because people brought up past things that the streamer has said, and that's the reason why they attacked her.
But even then, I mean, you can still go on with the whole movement that we're in. I mean, there had to have been some sort of racist remarks in there. There is no way that some of this stuff was not fueled through racism of any kind, whether that be through what they have here. But it kind of brings the whole idea of cancel culture as well, which I think needs to be looked at.
Where
there's so many things.
Well, I have
so many things that need to be looked at.
I'm going to go ahead and probably read an excerpt, if you guys are okay with this, from the excerpt of the Chinese streamer. Are we all in agreement with me reading a small
Keep it short, yeah. Keep it short.
Okay. So, right here, I don't know this person's name, because it's in Chinese and I don't know how to read Chinese. According to a user on Reddit, she was one of the several Chinese streamers who was due to make a cameo in Cyberpunk 2077. I was not aware that streamers were making appearances.
Yeah, Co Carnage is actually in it. If you know who Co is.
No, I do not. Either as stars of the in-game commercials or as minor voice actors. Announcements has widely discussed across Chinese social media, with fans wondering whether it was necessary for a game to have so many celebrity appearances. Some people went further, specifically criticizing individual streamers and questioning their acting capabilities. She was one of these people targeted. Although she is one of the most successful streamers in China, she has received criticisms in the past for her sexuality and quote-unquote sellout to The Last of Us Part 2, in which, according to the Reddit post, was overwhelmingly, god dang it, criticized by players on Chinese social media.
That does not sound very healthy, if you will. That just sounds messed up more than anything. It's again the whole cancel culture idea.
Yeah,
there's of course it's not exactly like race, like a part of racism. So
I don't even say if it's. I'm not even sure if it's due to racism. I would feel like at this point in age, like this point in time in this age, that we'd be past all this shit, but yet we still aren't. And I get that we're not, and it saddens me that we're not, because I feel like if you're going to be someone who wants to express yourself, I feel like you should have the freedom to do so without judgment. And like me personally, if I feel like I need to, if I feel like I want to fucking wear the hat, I shouldn't be judged for wearing the hat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But people are going to judge me for wearing the hat, saying that I'm a quote unquote furry because I just wear the hat, even though I just like to wear the hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I should be criticized for it.
No, and you shouldn't be. I mean, if people are going to, at least not do it to your face, if anything. Not saying that they should at all, because it shouldn't happen at all. But if anything, don't try and bring you down because of anyway.
I mean,
Not to
if
say
I
that
heard this right, she's a streamer in China, right?
Correct. She's
Yes.
one of the top streamers in China.
Okay. I mean, their culture is very different from what we have in the U.S. as well.
That is true.
So them saying that she's a sellout and that she's like, I guess sensual or whatever it was. I mean, it would be a lot different if she was here as well. I mean, compared to some of the streamers that we have, she might not even be like she might be super conservative compared to some of the streamers that we have.
Yeah, Grant's
I
totally
haven't
right.
seen any of what she does, so I can't really tell for sure. But I'm sure that it would be very different depending on where she's located. And being in China, I think that it shouldn't be, but I think it's expected.
I totally agree with Grant, and that's something that I didn't even think about, was just like being culturally aware of what's going on in that area.
Yeah, but
'Cause,
the point that it's about sexuality, I don't feel like she'd be any better off being here in the U.S. Because people here still fucking criticize about sexuality.
You don't know what it's like
Not-
over in China, though.
Not as much as other cultures.
Yeah,
I
like
guess.
here's the thing though. Like, I mean, we'll move on from this because I feel like we've really gone off a thing. But
On a
I will say
tangent.
this, just I will say this though, just to kind of bring it back. Like, we don't know what the culture is like, and just because we're like, oh, they're human, they might be like this, or oh, they're Chinese, they might act like this. Like, when I went to Japan, their culture is so different from ours, and there are so many things that they do different. And it's just like over there, family is everything. Family names are a lot. So, if you're tarnishing your name, that's already strike one. If you're doing X, Y, Z, that's strike 2, 3, 4, 5. You see what I'm saying? So it's just different. Not saying that what Chance is saying is wrong and invalid, because what Chance said is totally correct. At the same time, we just don't understand the culture. So, anyway, let's move on from that. I'm sorry, that one got a little off. My fault. We'll move on. Let's move on to the COD crates. COD crates, dudes. I don't know if you guys saw it, but on Twitter and stuff and on social media, Activision sent these big black spray painted like wooden crates to these big name streamers and stuff. Noah J456 is one of those guys. Let's kind of dissect about what it was. Does anyone know what happened?
Well, this is
Anyone
the
have
first
an
time
idea?
I'm currently hearing about these COD crates, so I would be nice to be informed about this.
Grant, do you know what happened? Because I know what happened. I think it's really cool. I just want to give you a second to talk.
So everything I've heard is from you and Tim, I believe. But basically, certain people received these crates that were like Call of Duty themed and from Activision or whatever, and it said don't open until I think it was the 12th.
10th.
I want to say
It was yesterday.
10th.
Yesterday, yeah,
Oh,
10th.
the 10th. Okay, so yesterday. So they were just given specific instructions with what to do with these Call of Duty crates, and supposedly some of their content may have hinted at both Easter eggs and what the next Call of Duty is.
Do you want to elaborate on that, Tim?
Yeah, so like Grant was saying, a lot of big Call of Duty streamers and whatnot received some of these crates that came with projectors and slides that were hinting towards Easter eggs within a certain map on the Black Ops series. I believe it was Summit that they had went around, did some stuff to, which eventually led to them getting a website, a web address.
I'm not sure if it was
Yeah.
necessarily a web
No,
address.
It was a web address that they got.
No,
sent to. I think it was,
yeah.
It's a web
I can't
address
remember
that.
what it was.
What is it? Pawn.
I
Pawn take pawn or something like that or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Um,
exactly, yeah.
yeah. I think it was like pawn take pawn, and literally that web address I believe is literally just a picture, like a picture of a TV with some old timey stuff. So I believe they were also given further instruction after they figured out this Easter egg to get the web address. That I believe the launch or more information is coming on Friday. So we might possibly have a confirmation on what the next Call of Duty is going to be called, quote unquote,
Yeah.
Cold War or whatever.
Yeah, so to kind of kind of just reiterate what Tim said and kind of fill in some cracks, pretty much what happened is these big names opened these crates, and in these crates they had clues. And what they did, let's just say it was a 3. And then the other dude who had a crate had, say, a 4. They had these little codes that they had to put together. And then it somehow revealed on the map Summit, which was a Call of Duty Black Ops classic. They had to go to this map. And here's a really cool part. Activision actually updated the Summit map with these little clues. They had to go around the map, and then they had to find these other clues that then led to another clue, which then led them to this website. And then it pretty much helped them to see that this is the Zombies Easter egg. That's what Noah J456 confirmed, that this was part of the Zombies Easter egg, which is going to prove that Zombies is in the next Call of Duty. We, of course, don't know exactly what it's called yet. And then, like to say, to reiterate what Tim said, Friday we're going to be getting what they call Part 2. So we might know more about what it's going to be on Friday. We might just get another sneak peek at what's going to be in the new Call of Duty, but it's a pretty cool way to do things. I think it's really cool to give things to these big names that pour their life into your games, kind of reward them in a sense, if you will, to send them on a scavenger hunt to then unlock for the community the next big thing. I like that. I thought it was cool. I didn't watch it because I was busy playing Destiny, I'm pretty sure, but anyway, moving on. Video game spending breaks all-time record in the U.S. I had, did I have the thing up here? I had the frick. Where is the ad, or where is the link? The link is somewhere. But anyway, I wanted to say that it was like 12 billion, in positive growth from April to June compared to last year. It is some huge number like that. I want to say it was 12 billion, just in sales from April to June this year compared to last year. Growth in the U.S., which is really cool. Given, of course, we have COVID, and video game sales because of COVID have risen, as we saw in Nintendo's press conference or conference call. They had like 400% growth in sales this quarter because of COVID or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that.
I think a lot of Nintendo's was due to Animal Crossing. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I know Animal Crossing has like a cult following. It's insane.
Oh, it really does.
Oh yeah, there people go hard in that game. It's just really interesting to see that so many people are now starting to go to video games. It's kind of neat. I like to hear that. Of course, it was probably like big names like Animal Crossing or maybe Call of Duty or whatever else is really big. But I like to see that the sales are growing just exponentially, all because of COVID. I think that's cool because it's bringing a lot of people together. It's giving them a little lift, if you will. Moving on. I don't know if you guys are big PC nerds. I personally like PCs. I like to learn about the stuff. NVIDIA is having a not a press conference. I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but they're having a conference, kind of like what every company is doing, in August, the very end of August, August 31st, last day of August. And it is suspected that they're going to be releasing news on their 3000 series. Are you guys excited? Do you even know what that means? Are you going to upgrade?
I mean, I don't really got the money to upgrade currently.
Yeah, same.
If I had the money to upgrade, here's the thing. If I had the money to upgrade, I'd probably spend that money instead on a better damn camera.
I respect that 100% because I really love just seeing the pixels in your room, and that's it. All I see is pixels.
Dude, I know, right?
All I'm saying is Chance is just such a video game facade that his camera has to make some pixelated.
Okay,
so it's more video game like.
Yeah, it has to 8-bit me.
Minecraft IRL.
Yeah.
Minecraft IRL.
Bro, I can probably mine the blocks out of your eyes right now.
Dude, somebody make me a Minecraft skin of me, please.
Okay. Please no.
No, thank you.
No, we only need Dan's Minecraft skin.
Yeah, with me twerking.
No, the other one. The one that you currently have set up on your Minecraft.
Oh, yeah,
character.
With my Ricardo Milos.
Yeah,
I like that one. That's
Tim,
a
find me a
one.
Minecraft skin. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just love that everyone just heard you say you twerking. But
God, we're going to show it.
Oh, God, Wing, please don't.
We're going to show it.
No.
No, listen, straight up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a song that we all like. You're going to send me the raw file of that, Grant. I'm going to combine it all. I'm going to render it out, and we're going to use it as our intro. It's going to be lit.
It already has music.
we're
yeah,
gonna
but
find
we want good music. Like
your
music.
stuff is.
Good
I need
music.
to edit it because I can't hear half
that's
of
fair
it.
because everything I have just comes for free with the software, so that's fair.
It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, I'm excited to see what the Ryzen, the NVIDIA 3000 series is going to supposedly do if we get that. I hope we do. We have two things about Xbox that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to move on into some more stuff. But I want to touch on this because I like Xbox, even though I'm a PC boy. I like Xbox. Xbox has always been my thing. I like Microsoft a lot. Microsoft is launching the xCloud beta today, or I should say it launched the xCloud beta today. Grant, would you care to explain what the xCloud beta is? Just in brief layman's
I
terms.
would care to if I knew anything about it.
Grant, scuffed.
I know
Five-head.
nothing about the xCloud.
Tim,
I'm
please
a
save
little
me.
concerned too.
Okay,
Save me, Tim.
so xCloud is basically Netflix, but for games. You're streaming a game to your phone, your console, your whatever, your PC, whatever device, your tablet, whatever you have.
Mhm.
And basically, a lot of these services are crap. Because
You're not wrong.
Right now, we don't live in a day and age where streaming games is viable.
This is starting to sound a lot like that system that Steam has.
Google Stadia.
Google
well,
Stadia,
yeah, kind of.
The Steam
Yeah.
Link. Steam Link
Yeah,
is.
Steam Link.
I think it's trying to combine both.
I feel
I
like
think.
it's more like Google Stadia.
Okay.
Google Stadia, and a lot of people are comparing it to PlayStation's service called PlayStation Now, which was a big flop, in my opinion. Sure, you have access to an entire catalog of games right from the get-go. You don't have to download any games. You don't have to update them or whatever. But you have such a latency when you're playing those games, it's almost unplayable. It's like you hit one button or you start walking, and then like a half a second later or 2 seconds later, your character starts walking in game. It's just, honestly, we're not in a place where that is viable. Maybe in the future when internet speeds are faster and are better, maybe. But
Because here's the thing, you gotta understand that like streaming a game, you have to stream all of that data for the map, for the items, for the people, for the voice lines, for the audio bits. All that crap has to come in and be there for you to access at any point in time. And it has to be like that. Otherwise, it's going to suck, kind of like what Tim said. Because we know that Google Stadia flopped. I'm excited to see, though, what xCloud's going to do, because I heard people say that like you'll be able to play stuff on your phone. So I'm wondering if like you're going to be able to stream it to your Xbox and then like connect your phone or something like that and be able to like, I don't know.
I couldn't imagine playing Halo on my phone.
Mine would.
The phone is now a Switch controller.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. Except no, because I don't like my phone. My phone's too slow. There's too many glitches right now. It would suck. And the last thing, Xbox we have apparently Project Lockhart controller was leaked. So if anyone understands when I say Lockhart, what that means, pretty much we're going to be getting a new Xbox, which is going to be like the super beefy, like more powerful than my PC console. This thing is going to output just tremendous power. And then we're going to have Lockhart, which is kind of like a in-between step of what we have now and the new one, kind of like more of a budget, if you will. The controller was leaked. And so people are like, ooh, okay, so now we're going to get it. And of course, hasn't been confirmed. This is just a leak. People are like, ooh. So we'll see in the future. We will see. Apparently, there's some today that I saw, like literally as I hit start, Microsoft confirmed that we're going to be getting it in holidays of 2020, the new console, and pretty much said November. So I would assume it's going to come out right around Black Friday, which everyone was already assuming, but it was a little more confirmed with something that they said. I didn't really look into it too much, but I saw November and I saw, yes, coming then. So we shall see if that's actually going to work.
I can't imagine. Hearing the term coming out of this holiday just brings me sadness.
Yeah, because, 343.
Because Halo's not coming out this
It brings me such sadness.
I mean, if I'm being honest,
this
I'd much
holiday
rather
means
play...
Easter, right?
No, Grant, get out of here. I'd much rather play Cyberpunk than Halo, so I'm kind of glad that Halo got delayed in terms of I can then play Cyberpunk. So
Yeah.
All right, Tim, break the news to me. Give it to me raw. Tell me the games that are coming out this week or that came out today.
All right, so we got 6 games coming out this week. Or no. Yeah, 5 games that are coming out this week. I can't count. I'm terrible.
Close enough to 6, though, so I'm proud of you.
Yeah, no.
5 is close to 6, so that's okay.
You're getting better.
Yeah, thank you all. No, so we got the 5 games coming out. The first one is Hyperscape. It's Ubisoft's VR that looks like it's literally just Overwatch if it was a battle royale, from what I can tell.
Wasn't that in beta for a little bit?
Yeah,
And like everyone was playing it?
I thought
Okay.
Hyperscape like completely flopped.
And no, it just released today.
No, it was in beta and then no one played it anymore. I think you're thinking of that one by Amazon.
Yeah,
Crucible.
Okay, yeah.
Crucible.
Yeah.
We've got a new game as well that's going to be launching tomorrow. It's called Metamorphosis. It literally looks like Bug Simulator 2020. It literally looks like you're just going to be playing as a bug. I have no interest in it.
It's like the opposite of grounded.
Exactly.
I wonder,
Exactly.
I wonder if you have to wait like 3 weeks in your cocoon as a caterpillar to come out
Yeah,
a butterfly.
yeah.
You know, I wonder if you actually have to
Hey,
wait
it's
in
real
real
time,
time.
like Ark. That'd be
No.
horrible.
Yeah.
It looks like it's an
Oh.
RPG or whatever where you play as like a grasshopper or something. I didn't watch too much. of it.
Nice.
It just didn't look very
Okay.
interesting.
That's a downvote from me.
I would not recommend. We got the Total War Saga Troy. That releases on August 13th. It's
Now,
total-
is that free to own or is that just free up until the point?
I have no idea. It's just releasing. These are
So here's the
releases.
thing. Here's the thing. I saw on Epic Games that game is going to be free on the 13th.
Okay.
What day is it
So
today?
if you are
Today is the
interested
11th.
in it,
Oh.
in 2 days, when this Total War Saga comes out, go to Epic Games and claim it. I saw that it was free, and then I looked on the thing to confirm it, and it was. So
Ooh,
we shall see what that means.
Remnant from the Ashes is also going to be free. Here
Oh,
soon.
true. Remnant from the Ashes on the 13th as well.
All right. We also have Deliver Us the Moon, which is releasing on the Switch on August 14th. Basically, it's Save the World Simulator. You go to the moon, get some resources, save the world.
Nice.
And then the last game that we've got releasing this week is going to be EA Sports UFC 4. So get prepared for those ads. No, I don't know if it's going to be in that game.
Can't wait to knock
No.
someone out in UFC 4. What happened to 1, 2, and 3? Did they just suck bad enough?
I mean, probably.
Dabs?
And he's knocked him out. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, now here comes an ad from Mickey D's.
Mickey D's.
We're not sponsored.
We're
Do you
killing
want a
it.
nice, juicy Egg McMuffin from McDonald's. $1. Do you want to lick the cheese off the wrapper?
Come
Anyway.
on, take a few drips.
No, dude, I've seen a McDonald's commercial where they're like, we know that you love licking the cheese off the wrapper. And they're like pulling the sandwich and the cheese is getting stuck to the thing. I'm like, ugh.
Dude,
Anyway.
that just makes me like not want to eat McDonald's.
Dude, McDonald's just makes me want to barf. Except their fries. Their fries are good. I
Dude,
like
their hash
fries.
browns are great.
The fries are dog.
I love their hash
Dairy
browns.
Queen.
Slap
fries.
those hash browns inside of one of the other sandwiches and
Okay.
He's not
We
wrong.
have
Mhm.
clearly different opinions,
Mhm.
so let's move on before we all kill each other.
I'm hungry
Alright.
now.
before we realize how
Okay.
wrong Dan is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't want
All
Dan
right.
to feel left out.
Here on the BroTalk podcast, we like to end our stuff on good news because we know that this world is sucky sometimes and we have a lot of bad news that's going around with the coronavirus, with all these protests and just the negativity that's going around. We even spoke about some negativity earlier, so we like to try and end it on a good news. We actually have 2 different stories for you this week. Whoop-de-doo. I like that. 2 good news stories that we can talk about just a little bit to help you try and bring a little joy into your life, to bring a little light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. Grant, let's start with you. Tell us about this tweet that you found, some good news tweet.
So this is from Mr. Beast. Because first off, he is Mr. Beast. He is a beast. He just does so much for just people, and it's pretty random too. Like you never see him get himself a new car, or get himself all this fancy stuff. And you could argue that it's off camera or whatever, but anyways, He tweeted this yesterday. He said, I want to build other channels like Beast Gaming and Beast Reacts so I can run my main channel at a loss and grow as big as possible, and then use my main channel's influence to one day open hundreds of homeless shelters and food banks and give away all the money. That's my game plan. If you don't believe me, just watch. I promise I'm dying with $0 in my bank account, and I refuse to live a materialistic life. And while looking at that, I also found one that he said the day before. He said, we've been making really good progress on setting up our first food bank. And so I think that's just awesome
Nice.
that like a YouTuber that's, I think he's 22 or 23, is already working at setting up a food bank because he has the resources to do so. He's actually doing something with what he's been given or blessed with or whatever. And I think that that's just awesome to actually see one of these influencers like really trying to make an actual difference.
I mean, you could.
I like that.
Mr. Beast is such a good guy. I don't think I've ever seen someone say something negative about the guy. I mean, you could argue that he's not the only person that's done it. I mean, like, we'll look at people like PewDiePie who have been criticized underneath the news light, who have donated thousands to charities and stuff, and they've, you know, it's nice to see people do that. I love it when I see some of my more popular YouTubers doing that shit.
Oh yeah, and Chance is totally right. We're just using this one as an example because it's more recent. But Chance is totally right in terms of like, you know, you see like Ninja and stuff and Dr. Lupo and just all these amazing gamers just making tons and tons and tons of money being that's donated to charities. Or, you know, Lupo, you know, he is a dude who will raise $1 million in a short stream and give it all away. Like, there's some amazing people out there. And so just to reiterate, the Mr. Beast thing is really cool. You know, to see someone so young, 22 years, I looked it up, by the way, 22 years of age, saying that he wants $0 in his bank account. He wants to give it all away just to help people. That's very encouraging. Tim, would you like to tell us about Mr. Ryan Reynolds?
No.
No?
I already told you yesterday.
Tim, you brought it up to me.
Yeah, I brought it up to you for you to talk about.
So pretty much what's going on is Mr. Ryan Reynolds was approached by this one guy. I forget the guy's name, and I can't look it up because it's in our Discord. And if I change my Discord, then watch, I'll show you.
And you all get to see behind the scenes.
Actually, no, I can't. Yeah, then it just shows the window that I'm looking at, so you wouldn't see our faces, which I can't do because I actually don't know what I can show you just in case if there's something bad. Anyway, Mr. Ryan Reynolds was approached by this man, and he pretty much said, yeah, I'll help you on this thing. Pretty much to raise awareness for disabled gamers through Able Gamers. Pretty much his company, what they do is they spend all their resources and time to try and help these disabled people play video games, you know, to try and help them a little bit in the dark times that they're in, you know, whether that be in the hospital, you know, they are going through whatever it is, you know, they really try and help these kids to try and see a little bit of light, as you will, at the end of the tunnel. So it's really encouraging to see, you know, big names like Ryan Reynolds doing this because he is a huge name in the acting Hollywood industry. Freaking Grant with your little baby hands. So it's really cool to see that and him to be like, yeah, you know, I support this. Video games for disabled kids. That's awesome. I really enjoy that. Yeah. I think that's really cool to see. Like I said, a big name doing that.
Baby hands threw me off.
I saw that and I was like, what? So
like 5 minutes ago.
Just my
shut up. All right, anyway, do you guys have any closing thoughts on that before we conclude this?
Not really. I'm really proud of seeing these kids and I say kids, but younger people doing this kind of thing. I love seeing this when you see,
I love seeing it too.
And then you see the opposite side of the coin, these greedy CEOs that don't do it.
EA. You're not wrong. Anyway, like I said, we're going to conclude. This has been the BroTalk podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here. I had a great time today. I really enjoyed the stuff that we talked about, and I think that it was really good to try and bring some of that to light, you know, try and just give our opinions about our thoughts and then to hear some really good news. So yeah, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Tim, for being here. Thank you, Wing, for being here. Everyone else in chat, thank you. It was a good time. Sorry, Tim. You, Tim, that I'm looking at right now. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you here.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I was almost not here.
Yeah,
you almost were in a car with some airbags. Anyway, thank you all. We really do appreciate it. You know, if you guys enjoy this, share this with your friends. It'll help us out a lot. If you're listening to this on YouTube, give it a thumbs up, give it a comment. It actually helps us in the algorithm. I learned that recently. If you comment, it helps us. Even if it says, hey, you guys suck, it somehow helps us. So give us a thumbs up. If you really hated this for whatever reason, if you didn't like it, give us a thumbs down. Tell us why, and we'll work on it for the next time.
Thumbs down. I didn't like Grant's baby hands.
I didn't like Grant's baby hands.
All I'm saying is I like Grant's baby hands for reasons that we can't talk about on stream.
Shut up, Tim. And again, this has been the Bro Talk podcast. We have been your bros, and we hope you guys have a great night and a great week. And we will see you on Friday. The what's a few days from now? Friday, the 14th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll be talking about more stuff in the world of video games, tech, pop culture, and good news. Have a good night.
You too, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
bye,
good.
dude.
I didn't know how else to end that.